Mr. Lucas Rocha against Ezra Lenon.
My name is Ezra Lenon. I fight out of St. Louis, Missouri. My team is Lenon Brothers / Ezra Lenon Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Getting ready for this, like the preparation for all this and trying to be ready to compete, I basically I'd already competed under 5, so I've already know the rules, already knew what to expect. I'm always trying to stay in shape anyways for in case a tournament comes up, and I was training for Abu Dhabi anyways, so it was like perfect timing. They gave me the call to come out here and I was already in shape, so couldn't have worked out any better. I think for anybody who doesn't really know my name or hasn't seen me compete, they can expect me to be aggressive. I like just put a lot of pressure on from the top. I feel I'm heavy. I like to force the half guard, top or bottom, and just try to keep my head in someone's face in constant pressure. I plan on just wearing the guys down and just smothering the entire time, never letting up the pace. You know, it's very important for me, and it was an honor to be invited to this because it's one of the biggest matches out there, one of the biggest tournaments. Everybody's talking about it, everybody's watching it, and it's just a great opportunity for me to go out there and test myself against some of the best names in the world. So I really look forward to it, win, lose, or whatever. It's a great honor to be here.
My name is Lucas Rocha, and I'm from Brazil, from Recife. Now I have a gym in Arcadia. The gym is a Gracie Barra. When they told me about this actor's injury, I was a little bit like, well, I would like to fight him. But at the same time, I trained hard, I gave my best, and I'm feeling ready, so I fight whoever, whenever, doesn't really matter. This event is going to be very important for me because I have the chance to be fighting a lot of tough guys. When I saw the list of the athletes, that was the first thing that got my attention. So, and the money, of course, it's a good amount of money they're investing on it. Very organized tournament, so I'm very excited to fight it. Just gonna give my best, I train it hard, and I'm gonna leave everything I have on the mat, and guarantee that.
All right, here we go. Ezra Lenon versus Lucas Rocha. This is going to be, I really think that this is going to be one of the most exciting matchups. I'm a huge Lucas Rocha fan. Lucas coming from Gracie Barra, Arcadia, I believe, originally from Recife, Brazil. Now, you know, in here running a Gracie Barra school, competing against Ezra Lenon. As we mentioned before, the last-minute replacement won the match against Jeff Glover, replacing Hector Lombard. I really think this is going to be an awesome match.
Yeah, and Ezra's got some. He's got some victories under his belt that are notable. I mean, he's beat Pablo Popovich and Ambar Barbosa before. You know,
competed at ADCC.
Yeah, yeah.
So he got an invite at ADCC. I believe he's also fighting this year as well. But Lucas Rocha, if you've watched some of the recent World Jiu-Jitsu Championships, he's very, very exciting competitor to see. And you know, I really think this is going to be one of the best matches of the 8-man bracket. So. Referee just addressing.
There they go, shaking hands.
And we should get started now. Here we go. Lucas Rocha, Ezra Lenon. Lucas Rocha on the left with the Shoyoroll rash guard. Ezra Lenon now on the left with all black.
I really like the head control that Ezra uses. It really sets up shots. That's definitely a quality wrestling to get good head control, break the posture, make the person's back consume oxygen.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, you know, when I see Lucas in the gi, goes for takedowns, loves to, you know, really initiate the takedown game. I want to see what kind of strategy he's going to play, you know, especially with the no advantages rule that we have here at 5 Grappling. It'd be interesting to see how this kind of plays out because, I mean, if you pull guard, you don't have to worry about, you know, the person scoring an advantage right away. So you have a little bit more of a freedom to start initiating your half guard or any other guard that you're familiar with. But, I mean, you know, Ezra, very fundamental passing yesterday. If you watch his Jeff Glover, he shut him down with a really strong, tough pass from the half guard. So be interesting to kind of see how this plays out.
2-on-1 grip.
Here we go, 4:50 left. And, you know, another thing is with the 6-minute matches, I really think that it's going to force the people to really start pushing the pace. I'm a big fan of the 6 minutes. Other organizations are using them, Copa Podio, the Abu Dhabi World Pro, and I think it's for that very reason. I think that, you know, to have 10 minutes is, you know, a lot of people will argue that it should be sub only or it should be 10 minutes, but I think that the 6 minutes just puts so much pressure on the competitors that it forces them to action.
Now we're getting after it. Now we're getting after it. Pace is picking up.
2 minutes in, I always say it, after 2 minutes, they've established, you know, their grips, they feel each other out, they have the distance, and now this is when it's going to get started. And look at that, Lucas Rocha with the guard pull. Let's see what happens here. 4 minutes left. So just to review the rules for you at home, if it goes to a draw, if there is no decision, there are criteria to base the decision. Basically, the first decision, the first criteria will be based on who had the most compelling submission attempts. The second criteria will be control and who is, pushing the pace of the action. And the last criteria will actually be penalties. It will not be the first criteria. So if nothing happens, they'll base it on that, that criteria there. Well, people automatically were questioning like what would happen if it goes to draw if there's no advantages, but I think because there's no advantages, no one's settling into almost positions, really forcing people to score and play a different game than they're used to.
Some really good action going on while you're explaining the rules. Ezra used a what I call a reach back guard opening. It's an old school technique that's coming back into vogue, especially with guys who are solid on their base. And quickly, the counter that Rocha did was to bring the leg over and go into a 50-50.
Yep. Lucas now initiated. I couldn't see if he got the points for the sweep. Looks like he did. Lucas Rocha up 2-0. Laces his leg right outside of the guard of Ezra Lenon, looking to pass. Very slick. And Lucas is playing a really good game now. He's doing just enough. He's not going, he's not using all of everything he's got. He's just kind of out.
Oh, here he's attacking the back.
Very slick transition there.
Nice.
2.5 minutes left. Lucas Rocha up 2-0. Ezra Lenon defending. He's got to do something.
Along with what you were saying, though, he's not being greedy. He did not jump up and set the seatbelt right away. This is no-gi, so if you attack that seatbelt too soon, sometimes you get too high. Now he's got...
Looking for the back.
Nice.
Trying to get that second hook in. Using that transfer to a leg drag. Lucas coming back up. Now defending the single. Ezra's got a nice single leg. Oop.
Guillotine.
Of course, the we have the out of bounds will be the blue area. So anytime the action goes towards the out of bounds area, that's where we're going to be stopping. We don't want anyone going through the spectators, paying all the prime VIP seating here. They didn't pay VIP seats to get smashed. So
there's a wonderful amount of space here to have your match in.
Definitely.
This is it's bigger than any normal mat size that you would see at an IBJJF event.
And one of the things I heard in Brazil a long time ago is, if you have a huge mat space, sometimes the technique gets a little sloppier. So even though we have plenty of room here, if it may be a little bit tighter than other professional submission tournaments, I think it forces tighter technique. And it really forces them to push back and fight back, not just go out of bounds. It forces them to kind of counter. Otherwise, they're going to be smashing into somebody. So better than falling off a platform. Back to the stand-up here. 1:17 left. Ezra now trying to get aggressive, going with the double.
He pulls the half.
Beautiful sprawl front headlock position there by Lucas. Ezra pulling the half.
He's almost operating like a reverse De La Riva. Yes, now he's in a reverse De La Riva.
Ezra trying to get that leg, trying to get the sweep. 50 seconds left. Be interesting to see how Lucas deals with this. Beautiful transition once again. Lucas just got very, like, he's so patient. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, his timing seems to be very correct.
Yep, absolutely right. Very sharp.
Not getting overzealous with the positions, doing just enough.
He's got the back.
Very technical counter game and dominating position to position. Out, he's catching Ezra in every scramble.
Yep.
Here we go. Got the hooks. Up 6-0 is Lucas Rocha. Be beautiful to see if he can go for the submission. Ezra was able to kind of get him off there.
15 seconds.
Ezra's got to go for broke. Sits back for a leg lock. 7 seconds left. Ooh. 1 second left. I think the clock is a little bit off, but not too sure what's going to happen in the last 3 seconds, but that is pretty much it. Great job by both competitors.
Very nice.
I mean,
non-stop action.
Yeah, no, that's my point. I really am confident in the 6 minutes. I think that it forces people, once again, after the 2 minutes, something always happens. Either it's a takedown or it's a guard pull, and then from there, you have more and more pressure. and then you have a really nice match.
Yes, and Ezra, to be commended on the short notice showing up
Absolutely.
and putting it on the line.
Absolutely. Yeah, very technical matchup. And